Good morning, everybody. It's Barbra Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. We are on song number 22 of Taylor Swift's new album called The Tortured Poets Department. And track number 22 is on the second part of the deluxe version of that album. And the song is entitled, How Did It End? ? We hereby conduct this postmortem. He was a hothouse flower to my outdoorsman. Our maladies were such we could not cure them. And so a touch that was my birthright became foreign. Come one, come all. It's happening again. The empathetic hunger descends. We'll tell no one except all our friends. We must know, how did it end? Uh-oh. We were blind to unforeseen circumstances. We learned the right steps to different dances. And fell victim to interlopers' glances. Lost the game of chance. What are the chances? Soon they'll go home to their husbands, smug 'cause they know they can trust him, then feverishly calling their cousins. Guess who we ran into at the shops, walking in circles like she was lost. Did you hear? They called it off. One gasp, and then, how did it end? Say it once, again, with feeling. How the death rattle breathing, silenced as the soul was leaving. The deflation of our dreaming, leaving me bereft and reeling. My beloved ghost and me, sitting in a tree. DYING. It's happening again. How did it end? I can't pretend like I understand. How did it end? Come one, come all. It's happening again. The empathetic hunger descends. We'll tell no one except all our friends. But I still don't know. How did it end? Well, I can't even begin to go there because out of 22 songs, 20 of them have directly mentioned bullet, killing somebody's wife, suicide, laying down on the ground, dying, laying down broken into pieces, killing oneself if you can't have him saying the same thing, death, dying, all of this craziness about God, the Lord, not praying. Just absolutely, for somebody that is Christian, to be saying the things in regards to God, in regards to the Lord, in regards to prayer and Jesus and people who are Christian. And Taylor Swift considers herself or wants the public to see her as a Christian, but she definitely does not portray that in her songs. In fact, quite the opposite of that. And any true Christian, it doesn't matter if you believe or not, but if for some reason, if anybody was to do that, discrimination, racism towards Islam or Hinduism or Buddhism or any other kind of religion, you would be canceled. Your career would be done. But for some reason, people think that they have a green light to do that and to say things like that towards Christians or Catholics or any kind of sect of Catholicism, Christianity as a whole. And especially for somebody to consider themselves Christian, to really be saying things like that, as if you're separating yourself from the people who really believe in God and believe and revere a Christian God and the real Christians. You're separating yourself from them, which tells me that if you're truly a Christian, you don't do that. You don't question God. You don't take the Lord's name in vain. And it does not matter what anybody else believes, but have respect for people's religions, especially when you want the public to perceive and believe that you're a part of that. Because as a Christian, fundamentally, the first thing that you're going to do, not only just your self-belief and your relationship, your personal space between you and God and you and Jesus Christ, you are not going to take the Lord's name in vain. You are not going to talk about the Lord in a context like that, or question God, or deny God. That's rule number one. You fundamentally would not do that if you were a Christian. And the fact that she does that in over 7 songs is just absolutely absurd to me. But what's even more heinous is the fact that I've only come across 2 songs that did not directly relate a breakup or the dying of a relationship, the death of a relationship, or the falling in love of a new relationship with death, or the jealousy of wanting to kill somebody else's wife or fantasizing about it, or and there's lots of suicide ideation throughout her songs. But 20 out of 22 directly mention death, dying, ghost. But the fact that she mentions the death rattle, death is something that everything on the planet, probably in the universe, is going to have. Even the sun and the planets in the solar systems will die, even if it takes billions of years. But things die. Here on planet Earth, that's fundamentally the one thing that we all have in common. Every creature, every species, even plant and ocean life. In every realm, in every language, we're born, we die. But the death rattle, breathing, for her to use something that physiologically happens to Homo sapiens when they are actively dying, to compare that to the death of a relationship, you couldn't be any more creative, Taylor Swift? Question mark. I really want to know. I really want to know. But out of 31 songs, please don't tell me that 30 of them or 29 of them or all 31 of them is going to be about the death of a relationship. How many different ways can you write a song about the death of a relationship? We get it. We get it. And people that have faithful husbands and faithful wives, they should be fucking smug. That's their birthright, to be fucking smug, that they chose a good spouse. That they didn't fuck around and keep wasting their youth and their days and their time on somebody that's insufficient or undeserving. In this life, there's what you do and there's what you don't do. There's actions you take. There's actions you don't take. There's just basically, it comes down to that. What a series of things in your life come down to the choices and the actions that you did or did not do. That you actively did or you neglectfully did not do. And that's just the base of that. You get what you give in life. You get what you give. So if your relationships are just a series of unfortunate events and you want to blame everybody else, and I don't know why the death of this relationship, most men are not to blame for the death of the relationship. If there's somebody has gone through dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of men. And we are the same generation, you and I, Taylor Swift, for somebody to have gone through so many men, dating, relationships, sexually go through so many people, is appalling to me. Not only is it appalling, it is disgusting. It is disturbing. It is the absolute opposite of a role model. Because you don't know what love is. You don't know what keeping love is. Because had that been the case, 20-something, you would still be with the same person for the past 15, 16 years. A lot of people get married in their early 20s. And form families and have kids. And they live together. They grow old together. They die. Having been with each other. So people that do make their relationships and their marriages work because they do stay loyal and they do stay faithful and they do stay committed and somebody is secure in their relationship. They deserve, that's their birthright and that is their absolute to be able to be fucking smug about it. To me, the fact that somebody would even have that thought process in their brain really signifies the jealousy and the envy and the insecurity that Taylor herself has inside, that she cannot find or have that for somebody who seemingly wants to be portrayed as this young, all-American girl next door. But that's the thing. She's an almost 40-year-old white woman who came from wealth, privilege, and entitlement. She is not the role model for people like us from her and I's generation. She is not the role model for people in my kids' generation. From 10 to 20. She's not the role model for them. She's not a role model or a poster child for the all-American girl next door. And how when you dream big and you're so self-assured and you have that confidence that you can make anything that you love a career. That's not true, and that's misleading. There's a lot of people out there that are fucking talented beyond belief and multi-talented and self-taught and even educated traditionally. But there's a lot of things out there that's not going to make them money the way that the music industry pays these artists and supports financially these artists and their tours and their travel and their studio time and all of the red carpet events, all of the glitz and the glamour that go with that. Under the surface and underneath all that bullshit, and this is why Hollywood has been getting canceled for years, is people like Taylor Swift, who have narcissistic, histrionic, borderline personality disorder and tendencies, because it takes that kind of narcissistic, psychological egoist to get to Taylor Swift's spot. Trust me, it's not the talent. It's not the musical talent. It's not the songwriting ability. It's not the voice. Because if it came down to talent, American Idol has found literally millions of people just here in the United States alone that surpass Taylor Swift as far as hard talent, God-given talent, earned talent. You have to be that type of narcissist to not only make and forge and create that spot, but to stay in it. And it's all about the connections and how they forge this fake image for her. But these songs really tell you the Freudian slips that are actually in them when she is composing and conducting these songs. Really tell you that she wishes she was more empathetic. She wants to mimic being an empath. And real empaths can see that and feel that, because real empaths don't have to try that hard to make everybody think and feel like we're connected, like we're friends, like we know each other, like where you really can feel my emotions and we can feel yours. No, there's a difference. There's a huge difference between being an empath and pretending to be one. That's why so many people don't like Taylor Swift and don't support her or her music, because it's really weird. It's really weird. And that leaves room for you to only gather by elimination and deducing that if she's pretending to be that, then what is she? What is she really? She's really a narcissist. She's really selfish. She's entitled and privileged and wealthy. And she feels entitled to have and keep that. But if you look at all these so-called A-list celebrities and public figures, that's the one thing they have in common. Because celebrities and public figures, they're going to be there no matter what. It's going to take those narcissistic assholes to really rape their way to that position and to do everything they can to try to keep and maintain that position. And to me, that really tells me all I need to know about Hollywood. That Hollywood is fake. It is fucking fake. And what kind of asshole would want to be a part of a clique like that? What kind of asshole would want to be in that group? Or associated with those kinds of people? Only other people like them. What kind of person can wake up every day and have, oh, this is just a part of my job. I'm a singer, songwriter, and performer. And I have to get up and I have to talk to my assistant, my manager, my agent, my PR firm, my lawyers, my mom, and we have to literally go through my entire day or what we have to do or all the things that I have to do. What kind of person literally serves their entire life solely based their job around them and themselves? That's really fucking weird. That's really weird to even have people come over and be doing your hair, doing your makeup, design houses, literally coming in and styling and dressing you and putting jewelry on. I mean, it's all just so self-based and revolved around self. This is why we see in Hollywood, relationships and marriages don't last, because they are attracted to other people that are in that same group as them. They're not going out in the real world finding real people and forming relationships with real people. This is so surface level boring that it's so cliche and stereotypical to say cringe. But the definition of cringe is the acute embarrassment and humiliation that you feel for somebody else, or while watching something or seeing something for somebody else, like almost secondhand embarrassment. And it is really cringe to think about that as a whole. But this song, how did it end? Every single song is about how relationships end. In fact, she writes more songs about how they end and how these relationships died, and she didn't know how. It just happened. It just came to be. It just was. And that she's left there wondering, like, I don't even know when the exact moment was that our relationship died. I can tell you when that other person found out exactly who you really are and saw who you really are. And not Taylor Swift, the company. Taylor Swift, the persona. Taylor Swift, the fake image. And that has got to be deeply, deeply harmful towards her as far as her image and self-image. She's got to be so insecure. And all it does is further perpetrate the really toxic, self-abusive cycle of her dating people just like that and continuously doing the same thing over and over and over. How about you just don't date anybody at all then? If you're going to keep dating dozens and hundreds of the wrong ones, obviously you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because if you were successful, you would have a successful relationship that has already been 15 years. You know, you'd already have that ring. You'd already have the children if you wanted them. Or whatever kind of life you wanted to build with a partner. You would have had that. You would still have that. I mean, everyday normal people out here in the world struggling to get by can find spouses and have spouses and are in relationships. There's a lot of people that get divorced, but yeah, there's a lot of people that get remarried who both spouses have children. There are families, blended families that are out here struggling and making it work. And not only raising her kids, but also raising his kids. And they're the happiest of couples. But that's the thing. It's all about not just what this other person gives me, what this other person makes me feel. It's about, I want to see and feel reflected back onto me what I think and feel love is. What I think and feel love is may not be the actual definition and the actual projection of what love really is. A lot of people don't realize that. This is love addiction. This is love obsession. This is being obsessed, just like Jennifer Lopez, being obsessed with the falling in love. You're not obsessed with keeping love, making love work, actual love. Obsessed with wanting that feeling that a new person, a new body, a new face gives you, because you like the feeling of that person's, the initial courtship of a new relationship. You like what they project back to you, not who they truly are, what they truly are, not what they actually think and feel. You want them to project back to you what you think and feel that love should be. So the minute that somebody is not emotionally retarded or is not emotionally shaky or insecure or emotionally moody, not emotionally impulsive, or emotionally agitated. That's the moment somebody thinks, okay, what did I do wrong? The relationship is dying. I just have one thing to say about that as far as relationships. And songs like this, because this is the theme in most of her songs. When somebody says they love you, believe them. When they tell you the truth, believe them. When they tell you how they feel, believe them. The best thing a relationship can have to move forward into a marriage and to be lifelong is compromise, self-sacrifice. Putting your time and your work and your effort into that relationship, not your job and you and your image, but into your relationship, nurturing that. Because there's only so much time in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. You have to give in a relationship for it to work, and the other person has to do the same for it to be successful. And it seems like a lot of people in Hollywood, they want that feeling of having somebody and this image of being in love and having this great relationship with somebody. And all of the publicity and the fake news that swarms celebrity relationships. But it seems like they don't actually want what a relationship really is. Because if they did, they know, trust me, ain't nobody that stupid. They know what it takes. But the problem we see with Hollywood relationships is that they do end. They do end because your whole idea and thought process of what should be is just usually unmoving and uncompromising. So that's the problem, because having a successful relationship involves self-sacrifice and compromise. And we're not talking little minute, mediocre things, big things. Like actually giving up your career or really pulling back on how much you're doing in your career to be able to try and have that. Because you can't be out doing your job, doing a new album every year, every 2 years, working on it, doing tours, doing red carpet events, doing interviews, doing all of it, and have time to also nurture a relationship. New or old, doesn't matter. So they die off. They die off. A lot of times it's boring. But if we were to hear the truth from other people's perspectives, it dies off because they probably found out exactly who she really is. If people in the public sphere can see it, if I can see it, a lot of other people can see it. Obviously they do. I really honestly think that Taylor Swift is like Amber Heard. Borderline and histrionic. Somebody that is clingy. Somebody that is very insecure, deeply insecure and broken, and wants the constant validation and reassurance from a partner that they're not gonna be left or abandoned. That really crazy clinginess of wanting to be with somebody all the time, wherever they're at, whatever they're doing. Because you want to be validated. You want to be secure. That's alarming. That's very alarming. Because if you truly love somebody, you give them their space for their job, friends, family, all of it. Because you want the person you love to have a well-rounded, healthy life, fulfilled life. And that includes having space and time for their job, their family, their friends, their hobbies. Not constantly having to stop all that and sacrifice for you because you need the constant validation and reassurance that you're loved, that this person is in it, that they want to be with you, that they'll do anything they can within their power and financial ability to be with you. But people that have borderline and histrionic personality disorders, they're the most insecure people. the most insecure, because deep down inside, they know I'm not deserving. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this person. There's so many more beautiful, talented, really great, amazing women out there that would be a better fit for him. And I know that. And constantly wanting to know that, yes, this person chooses me. But it doesn't ever end. There's no satisfaction to that monster of the clinginess, of constantly wanting to be in control, wanting to feel that security and that validation. Not actually forming a solid foundation with that person together, but demanding that of the other person. And that is a burden and a weight and a heaviness that you put on somebody you love that is really unfair. If you loved somebody, you would not put that burden and expectation on them. You would never do that to them because you love them for who they are. And you wouldn't want them to have that weight. I see absolutely no good from any of these songs or any of her relationships, if these really are truly based on her relationships. And some of them are, because there are some things she's filled in here just off the top of her head. But some of the Freudian slips she has in here definitely tell everybody exactly who she is. And yeah, the relationships die. Most of her relationships die. Well, all of them have. Except that this new one that she's in. But obviously that one's going to end too. I mean, her and Travis Kelce, come on. Really? You first of all, she's not even looks anything like his type. If he had a type, but just so opposite. He seems so opposite of her. But of course he's loud, entitled, white, selfish. I can see why she's attracted to that. A man that is exactly like her. That's it. And that's what's so attractive at first, and what keeps giving them that falling in love feeling is that it's that narcissistic feeding of the narcissism to the narcissism, because nobody can satisfy a narcissist more than another narcissist. And that's really what we see a lot in Hollywood. And Taylor Swift, she's the epitome of everything fucking wrong with Hollywood and the music industry as a whole. So, but this song, How Did It End? This is a 0 out of 10 for me. This whole album is just not even hitting, not even given, not even, it's not even hitting poetry for me at all. And I'm a huge poetry aficionado. I have been ever since I learned how to write. So anyway, I love you guys. I will see you all later. And I hope you guys all have a great Thursday. All right. We'll be here tomorrow morning for song number 23. All right. I love you. Have